Hey reckoners, and welcome back. Today's indie game is Hot Diggity. I am recording this in post because this game, I think I could play this game and talk at the same time, as much as I can talk at all doing anything, but I got a high score while recording, so I wanted to show you. So here I'm talking about my strategy, because digging is very important. So as this goes, you dig down, and you get gems. As you get gems, you can add on to your ship. Here I have added on an additional set of thrusters. Now this, as a first module, is a very risky thing to do, because you will see the module will get caught on edges, because only the drill block will destroy tiles. So I have to do some right here, some really, kind of finicky maneuvering to get enough gold to buy another thing. So here I have 2 drills, so now I'm good. Now I can maneuver at will. The slight risk is drilling through rock builds up heat. You can see that top bar, the right one, the left one's gold, the right one's heat. As I'm building up heat, if that bar maxes out, I get destroyed. But fortunately, I get enough gold to build a coolant, so that will slowly drain the heat away. And now we're good to go. So this part is somewhat reliant on luck, because you can definitely spawn over a series of blocks which are, very hard to navigate with that initial setup, or have a lot of lava pits in them or something. A couple times I would even build a second block and just get stuck, wedged in between 2 of the rocks. That really sucks. So now we have the main core of the ship build we're going to be doing. That laser is used functionally as a minesweeper, but also kind of as a way to get extra gems, as you will. Oh, because it wasn't clear, the premise of this game is you're just digging down, and you have a giant monster coming from above to kill you. As far as I know, there is no end. You got a lot of heat there, because there are lava blocks which generate much heat. The lasers can scare the monster away a little bit. I don't think they're doing anything there, because the monster is still a bit too far away. It's not really clear. The trick behind this build is a column. We're just going to pile drive down. We're basically not going to steer any more at this point. So the trick is kind of balancing your water tanks, your cooling towers, and your thrusters, because you need to be able to reverse thrust that massive bulk you're building up. Otherwise your lasers won't be able to destroy the lava blocks in time. I find that 3 lava blocks is the perfect amount, because they cut through most blocks very quickly, or quick enough rather, and 4 lasers builds up heat way too quickly. I also find, I don't know how the algorithm exactly works, but the deeper you go, the more just ambient heat there is. Like, you don't just passively build up heat. Like, if you're doing nothing, you won't build up heat, but anything that generates heat generates more heat. You'll see this later, because from here on out, basically, all I'm going to add to the ship is thrusters, just, have a little bit more control for my descent speed, and more cooling towers. And so, like, right now, you'll notice I can hold those 3 lasers forever, pretty much. Maybe not now, actually. There's some slight build-up. Did I get the math wrong on this? I'm not sure. But those 3 lasers alone will build up heat much faster later on. I'm pretty confident about that. You'll notice we just kind of went around an empty room structure. Those are interesting because they have very sturdy walls, so we actually hit it at the worst possible point. I'm going to talk about this game a little bit, in that it's a little weird coming to play this game on the heels of playing Swindle last week, because there's a couple of things in common. I mean, they're both roguelikes, obviously. They both have random generation, which can be a little frustrating. And the main reason why I even bring it up at all is because my biggest complaint about Swindle was how much time you had to invest in the beginning before the game became fun. And this time was in the order of, say, 3 hours. This game has the same problem, in that I feel, I didn't try excessively every strategy possible, but I feel like the strategy that consistently performed the best that I tried had a very rough beginning. I'd say I'd only get to like this kind of point where I'm actually building a ship and descending 1 in 3 attempts. However, that's more or less okay, because if you fail within the minute. So it's not a lot of time wasted. It's a small frustration, but nowhere near the order of spindle, so I feel like he can get away with it. And that kind of ties into just... I wish the thrusters in this game did a little more, because you can see to the sides far more than you have any hope of navigating to. Now I suppose here I could pull a complete reverse and go towards, say, you know, all that gold off to my left, because I have such a big gap between me and the monster, but it's just really, really unwieldy, and maybe that's the point. Maybe that's the price of building more thrusters, but I think thrusters are really only good for, I mean, vertical thrust up and down. That's not strictly true because it's forward and back in relation to how you're facing, but my point is there's not a really good way to increase your agility. You can increase your velocity control, but you can't really increase your turning in a super meaningful way. And maybe that's the point of the game. I mean, the whole point of the game is just go as deep as you can. So maybe that's fine, but I feel like it might give a touch too much control to the random generation. I'm not asserting that to be a fact, certainly, but I mean, it's something to think about. I mean, the game is fine as it is, considering it's only like a 14 megabyte game, or the zip file was. Like, it's a small game. I played it for, you know, several hours, just trying different things. I kind of had, I guess, that's kind of the point of these building your thing games, is the fun of trying to, you know, try all these different combinations, like different strategies. For me, there's only 4 different modules, so it's a little, like, beginning I was trying, you know, 3 wide kind of builds, maybe having a drill be my first extra item. But I think the biggest option, or the biggest thing you have to concern yourself with is the order in which you build things, as opposed to the layout. And the layout is major, obviously. The reason I'm going with this 2-wide build is because, like I said, because the vast majority of my motion is vertical, I want to have a very narrow footprint, and 1 wide just seems outright too small. Maybe it's not. I didn't try it. It's actually interesting to see. You guys should try it. But so 2 wide, I'm basically just a nail just trying to drive into the ground. I'm curious if the game ends if you can get so far ahead of the monster that it reaches the end of the dial, or the measurement thing. I don't quite get that far, but I do get very deep. I get deep enough that the game is basically just looping, so, well, I didn't die on purpose. I was definitely ready to die at the time I died because things weren't really getting any harder. As you can see, I just kind of encountered a new, like, red zone, which has red rocks, which were really hard, and that was kind of indicating to me that I might actually need to build a 4th laser, which I don't think I end up doing, because, I mean, it's pretty open. I have enough mass behind my drill so that I can get through most things quickly, but, I mean, you're really not using the drills that much at this point, because you need to have enough space for your lasers to do their work to, you know, basically demine those lava squares. And this far down, the lava squares are just everywhere, and they blow up, so your lasers, the drills don't even get used anymore, because the lasers detonate the lava, which, you know, digs for you. And you definitely get a sense right now. You can see my thrusters going. There's a sense of inertia that this massive thing has. And I'm getting so much gold, but it takes a lot to get an upgrade at this point. So yeah, there's a lot of red stuff. It's not clear to me. Sometimes, I think this is completely wrong, but sometimes it seems like detonating a lava thing will destroy the gold. Now, I don't actually think that's true, but it seems that way sometimes. Why did I build a thruster there? That was dumb. Did I feel like I was falling too fast? I should have built a coolant thing. Look at my heat. See, the lasers are going up. Just running the lasers. Not even running the thrusters. I mean, they're running the thrusters, but not even running the thrusters. The lasers alone are building up the heat significantly. So now, that's where I'm nervous, because not that long ago, like a minute ago, I was just running the lasers constantly, swooping them back and forth. Now I have to worry, because if I have to hit the thrusters, that adds more heat, so maybe it's not a function of depth. Maybe it's just a function of modules. Maybe just having the extra engine is some sort of, like, you know, heat thing? I don't really know. Oh, that was bad. That was right on top of that one. So we're gonna wait for heat to get down. Yeah, we wouldn't have to do this if I'd built a Well, we wouldn't have to do that if I'd built a heat sink, but we might not be able to do that if I built a heat sink, because we might have been inexorably pulled downwards. It's not clear. I've got a few seconds left before I die, so I'm just gonna give my little outro. This game is Hot Diggity, because you're digging and you're managing heat. There's my record, 1,375 meters and change. Check this game out in the description below. It's great fun. Please let me know if you have any sweet, ingenious builds that are better than mine, that you get deeper than mine, or anything like that. I'm definitely, I think I like my endgame build. I think it's pretty solid. It's not perfect, obviously, otherwise I'd never die, but I'm really just satisfied with how hit or miss the early game is. So let me know if you come up with something better. Yeah, this is great. Good game, not a lot to say about it. This simple concept, brilliantly executed, so props to you, Malcolm Brown. Excellent job. And thank you, dear viewer, for watching me. I'll see you in the next video. Signature catchphrase.